Good evening. Welcome to this English lesson where we're going to talk about errands and chores. I'll explain what these are in a moment and what the difference is, but I just wanted to say welcome to everyone who is here. It is good to be doing another English lesson. I will be honest with you though, I try not to look at the number. When I see that there are 64 people waiting for the lesson to start, it makes me just a little bit nervous, But mostly what I do, if you want to know the secret for how to be relaxed during a lesson, is I just try to think about the people that I know. So welcome to Deekshanch and Beata and Gaga and Shen and Lolly. And I don't want to say everyone's name, but welcome to all of you and thanks for being here. The familiar names to me are the names that help me be relaxed or help me stay relaxed while I'm doing a live stream when there are so many people watching. But enough of me talking. Let's get to the lesson about errands and chores. So first of all, the difference between the two. So an errand is something that you go out to do, and a chore is something that you do at home. As you go through your day, you probably need to do errands and you probably need to do chores. So we'll talk about each of the items that I have ready for this morning, and I will tell you whether it's an errand or chore. If I forget, I'm going to start with errands and then we will do chores. So welcome to this lesson. Welcome to this English lesson on errands and chores. I have to apologize. You do at home as you go. There's a little bit of an echo because you can see that all of the student desks are gone. And the reason they are gone is because it is exam week. So all the student desks are in the gym. They're in the gymnasium. And this week at school, all of the students are writing exams. They write their exam in the gym. We have long rows of student desks in our gym so that we can hold as many students as we need to. But that means my room is empty. Echo, echo. So I'm just yelling echo to hear the echo. It's a little echoey in here. I want to say hi to Todd and Dave, who both are here to moderate as well. Just a few rules before we start. Please keep the chat English. That is just great for everyone who's learning English. And if you have a question, please ask it using the form that Todd or Dave will be linking throughout the lesson. Let's get started though. This is definitely an errand. So sometimes I have to go get gas. Now, I have to apologize. This is actually diesel. So we have diesel fuel and we have gasoline. But we still say go get gas. Sometimes I say go get diesel if I need diesel for the tractor. But sometimes you look at the gas gauge in your vehicle and you realize that you are almost empty or you're running on empty. Those are two phrases we use. And you realize that you need to go get gas. You could say that you need to go buy gas. You could say that you need to go get some gas. When you're there, you pump gas. So when I am at the gas station, I would pump gas into my car or I would put gas into my car. So those are all the phrases around the errand of going to get gas. Gas is expensive in Canada. I don't like to go get gas. I like it when we don't drive a lot and we save money. Another errand, and some of these errands are becoming more like chores, and I'll explain why in a moment. But one errand you might have is you might need to go to the bank. Maybe you need to make a deposit at the bank. You need to put money in the bank. You can make a deposit at a bank machine or an ATM, or you can make a deposit inside the bank by talking to a teller, a bank teller. Or maybe you need to make a withdrawal. You need to take money out of the bank. But going to the bank is an errand, but I have a question for you. If I do my banking at home online using my phone or computer, is it an errand or a chore now if I deposit a check? I'm not sure because I don't need to leave my house anymore to deposit a check. I can just take a picture of it. In fact, I don't often go to the bank anymore. I do most of my banking on my phone or online using my computer. So The errand of going to the bank would mean that you physically go to the bank building. Maybe you need to go to the post office. So one of the errands that I run, by the way, in English, we usually say that you run errands, okay? So I usually go out and run errands. Every few days, there are a few errands that I run. One of them is that I go to the post office. Thanks again to all of you that send me postcards and other things. I got a really nice mug the other day from Zara. It's a really cool mug that says, English is weird, but I love it. It's a really neat mug. But one of the errands would be that you go to the post office. Maybe you need to send a letter. Maybe you need to get your mail. My post office box, the address is below in the description, by the way. My post office box is at the post office. So I need to go to the post office to get mail. In some Canadian neighborhoods, they have mailboxes at the street corner, so you can get your mail in your neighborhood. You have a key to the mailbox, but I have to go to the post office. So that's another errand that I run. Some people need to drop the kids off at school. It's kind of a weird way to say it. You just take your kids and drop them? No, you don't do that. But we say this, that sometimes if you give your kids a ride to school in a car, you would say that you need to drop the kids off at school. My kids take a bus to school, so I don't have to do this errand. In Canada, some kids walk to school. Some kids get a ride with their parents and they get dropped off at school. So Canadian parents sometimes drop the kids off at school, and some kids take a bus to school. So they wait at the end of their driveway, or they wait at the bus stop and they get on the bus and they take a school bus. So there's a variety of ways for kids to get to school. Here's the opposite though. At the end of the school day, sometimes parents need to pick the kids up from school. So at the end of the school day, again, some kids walk home, some kids go home on a bus, and some parents pick the kids up from school. So when you pick your kid up, you don't actually lift them. You just go and you say, hi kids, get in the car, get in the van, let's go home. So when you bring the kids to school in the morning, you could say that you drop the kids off at school. When you pick the kids up at night, you would say that you pick the kids up from school. I think you could also say that you need to pick the kids up at school. That totally sounds fine to me, like pick the kids up from school, pick the kids up at school. Anyways, as you know, I like to answer questions. I'm going to do the first few questions now. Let's see here. Victor has the first question. So the way this works is if you ask questions using the form that Todd or Dave will link, I will copy and paste your question back into the chat. I will fix some errors if there are some, and then I will try to answer it. So Victor says, hello Bob, what errands and chores don't you like the most? Thank you very much for your lesson. I don't like cleaning the toilet, but that's one of the chores that I do, clean the toilet. Not a fun chore at all. Next one, Shen says, you fixed that. Oh yeah, there was an error that Gaga and Shen reminded me of. I prefer to do housework at home rather than errands because you know that errands usually cost money to buy stuff. By the way, how often do you do housework together? So we try to clean our house a little bit every day after supper. And then usually on Saturdays, we clean our house. We do a lot of the cleaning chores on Saturday afternoon. Let's see here. Kuo from Taiwan says, hello Bob, tonight is Chinese New Year's Eve. Happy Chinese New Year's Eve. Well, thank you very much. I have a number of Chinese students in my class, and I will make sure today that I say to them, Happy Chinese New Year. Even though it starts at midnight, it's still kind of fun. Let's see here. Next question. Flavio, a little off topic, but we talked about getting gas. Good morning, Bob. What are the types of fuel? How do you say them in English? Thanks. So when I go to buy gas, when I go to get gas, we have regular gas, we have diesel, and then there's 3 grades of gasoline. There's like the cheapest grade, and then 2 higher grades that have a little more octane in it. I don't know a lot about gas, but there are 4 kinds of fuel that you can buy. I buy the cheapest gas, or I buy diesel for my tractor. Let me do one more question. Let's see. Ying, let's see. It's Lunar New Year's Eve now in most East Asian countries. That's very cool. Happy Lunar New Year. Thank you. Are chores and housework the same? So housework would fall under the heading of chores, okay? But not all chores need to be housework. So if I say I have a lot of chores to do at home, it can involve work in the house as well as outside of the house. And if you live on a farm, we also call the work we do in the barn chores or farm chores. So chores is more of a broader term for all of that work. Let's see here. There's a question here that's not on topic, so make sure that your questions are on topic, okay? So I'm going to skip those and do one more question, and then we will move on. Zarni says, hello, Bob. What is the difference between tasks and quest? So a task is a job that you do like a chore. Like you could say, oh, I have a lot of tasks to do. It's not a very common word anymore, the word tasks. We do use it. You'll see it when you are reading, but normally we use the words chore or work. Like, oh, I have a lot of work to do at home. I have a lot of chores to do at home. And your second question, quest. So we don't use that word very much in spoken English. It's more of a word you would see in fantasy stories, like the knight had a quest. He went on a quest. So a quest is like a long journey. Maybe you're going to kill a dragon or something like that. Anyways, let's get back to the lesson. Another errand that you might run is you might return a book to the library. So most libraries have a book return slot on the outside of the building. So if you have borrowed a book from the library, if the library lent you a book, if you borrowed a book, if the library lent you a book, notice the difference there. You could return the book by putting it in the book return. This would be an errand that my wife Jen and I run every once in a while because we like to take our kids to the library. And we often need to return books. So I will run errands maybe on a Saturday. We might take the kids to the library, or I might simply return the books. I might bring the books back to the library and return them by putting them in the book return. Hopefully that made some sense. Nowadays, though, I read most of my books on an e-reader. So for me to return the book, I just push a button and it goes back to the library digitally. It's kind of like magic. Here's another errand that's kind of changing. So one errand that I used to run is I would pay bills. I would actually go to the garage where the mechanic who works there fixes my car, and I would go and I would pay the mechanic. So I would run an errand to pay the bill. But nowadays, I pay all my bills using my phone or my computer from home. So paying bills isn't necessarily an errand, it's more of a chore now. And I actually don't know how to define this, but I rarely go and pay my bills anymore. I usually just pay them using online banking. So the idea of getting a bill in the mail from the hardware store and then going to the hardware store and paying the bill is kind of an old way to do it. Now I usually pay my bills just using the computer. It's a lot easier that way. So again, if you go out to pay a bill, if you go to the local garage to pay your mechanic, you would say that it's an errand. But if you are just sitting at your computer paying a bill, I think it's more of a chore now. I don't know, Sean from Free 99, what do you think? If you are at home paying your bills on your computer, is that a chore or is that an errand? Because you're not going out. Anyways, next one. Let me get a little drink of water here. We have grocery shopping. So one errand that you might need to run is you might need to pick a few things up from the grocery store. So sometimes when I'm done work, Jen will text me and she'll say, we need milk, we need bread. Maybe we don't need to do like a full trip to the grocery store. Maybe we just need one or two things. So I would consider that an errand. Running to the grocery store. I don't actually run, but in English, when we go somewhere, sometimes we use the word run. Like, I'm going to run to the post office. I'm going to run to the grocery store. No Canadians actually run when they do that. It's just a way of saying it. It's kind of a phrase. I don't know why we use the word run. It would be funny if everyone actually does run. So an errand would be something like going to the grocery store. So I see a question in the chat, what is an errand? So an errand is something that you do, something that you leave your house or home to do, like get groceries or go to the bank. Those are all considered errands. You might need to renew your license. Now notice there's a couple different spellings of license. In some countries we have an S. In Canada, our driver's license has a C, but it's pronounced the same way. You'll want to check which one you use in your country. So Sean, I think, agrees with me. If you're not going out, it's a chore. That would be my opinion as well, Sean. And if you're not sure whether paying bills from home is a chore or errand, just say that you need to pay the bills. Just don't call it either. Sometimes you need to renew your license. So this is something that you can't always do from home. Sometimes you can renew your license from home, your driver's license, but every once in a while, you have to go to the driver's license bureau or the driver's license office, and you need to get your picture taken again. So they need to take a picture of you. This is my old-fashioned way of taking a picture. They need to take a picture of you. So as one of your errands every couple of years, you might need to go to the driver's license office and renew your license because they might need to take a new photo of you. Now, these aren't technically errands, but since we're talking about things that you need to go out and do, you might have appointments or you might have an appointment. You might have a doctor's appointment. You might have an appointment at the dentist. So again, not technically an errand because you're going to an appointment, but definitely something that you need to go out and do. I always think this doctor in this picture, I've used this picture before, he always has this kind of funny look on his face. So anyways, you might have an appointment that you need to go to. Let's do a few more questions before I get too far behind. Let's see here. Folks, make sure that it makes it easier for me if you make sure that you don't ask questions that are off topic, okay? Because it's a little hard for me to pick out the questions then, and sometimes I miss some. So please ask questions only about today's topic. Ricardo says, hi Bob, what is the difference? I fixed your question there, Ricardo. What is the difference between errands and chores and daily routines? So errands are things you go out to do. Chores are things you do at home. And errands and chores can all be part of your daily routine, okay? Part of my daily routine is that I run errands after work, okay? Part of my daily routine is that I sweep the kitchen floor, and so that is a chore that I do. So daily routine is a term to describe all of those things, and particularly the ones you do each day. That would be your daily routine. Let's see. So Renata says, can I say pick the kids up at school? You can say, I need to pick the kids up at school. You could say, I need to pick the kids up from school. You could say, I need to go get the kids. You could say, oh no, I forgot to pick the kids up. I better go get them. That happens sometimes, I think. So I have a lot of questions about the difference between an errand and chore. And I think I answered most of those. So let me just clean up my questions here. Stan has the next question where he says, what about pour gas or fill in with petrol? Is it okay to say so? No, I would say that when you are at the gas station, you fill your car up with gas. In England, you would say petrol. You wouldn't say pour gas or fill in with petrol in Canada, okay? I'm not sure about other parts of the world, but you would not say that. Let's see here. Fernando wants to know the price of a liter. It's about $1.20 right now for gas in Canada. It might be a little bit lower. Let's see. Nguyen says, hi Bob and everyone, I'm from Vietnam. I have a question for you. Can you please make a video about things about errands in Canada? Happy New Year in Vietnam. I could do that. I could do a short video for a Tuesday where I talk about errands in Canada. Let's see here. Shelley has the next one. What is the difference between return and bring? So here's how it works. If I have a library book, I need to return the library book. And I think that's where this question's coming from. So I can go to the library and put it in the book slot. I can also say that I need to bring the book to the library, okay? So in that situation, I'm using two words to talk about the same activity, but I'm talking about it in two different ways, right? I need to return the book to the library, okay? So I'm talking about the act of returning it. And in order to do that, I bring the book to the library. But I would do a little research on the difference between return and bring. Take and bring. We use it, we flip those words a lot around. Let's see. Next question is from Rashid. Is it correct to say errands and outdoor have the same meaning? Not technically. An errand is something that you do when you go out to do a certain daily task or a certain tasks that you need to do. So again, there was a question, difference between errands and chores. Errands are things that you go out of your house to do, and you drive your car or you walk somewhere. Chores are things you do in your house where you do not leave your house. Let's see here. Next one. From Gaga. Hi, Gaga. So Gaga, hi, Teacher Bob. Tomorrow is the first day of the new year according to the lunar calendar. So we have to celebrate in Vietnamese culture and have a lot of chores to do. I'm so tired. Yeah, part of having a party is you have to clean up after the party. And that does take some time, doesn't it? Let's see here. Next question. Thanks, Gaga, for that question. Next question. Hello, Bob. What is the difference between the expressions go shopping? So it's to go shopping. I'm flipping go and to run errands. Thanks a lot for your answer. So shopping could be considered an errand that you run, but other things that aren't shopping can also be errands. Okay, so hopefully that makes some sense. Let's see. Gonna skip another errand and chore question, and next question is from Puku. So Puku says, is there any difference between pick up the kids from school and pick the kids up from school? What about pick up the clothes from the laundry shop? Is it correct? Yeah, you can flip that around. So let me reread. I need to pick up the kids from school. I need to pick the kids up from school. You can say both. Both are totally correct in spoken English. There might be some grammatical rule about which one is better, but you will hear both sentences used by native speakers, okay? So you will hear, I need to pick up the kids from school, or I need to pick the kids up from school. Sometimes we flip things around, and you are totally allowed to do that. Let's see here. So a lot of questions here that are not on topic. Let me get back to the lesson and then I will go back to the questions. So we're gonna start to talk about chores now. So again, errands are things that you go do outside your home, and chores are things that you do at home. So one very common chore is to make supper or make dinner. Again, if you remember from my other lessons, I use both of these words. Sometimes I say, what's for dinner? Sometimes I say, what's for supper? Sometimes I say to Jen, what would you like me to make for dinner? What would you like me to make for supper? I use these words interchangeably, and it refers to the evening meal. So one chore that you do regularly is you make dinner. You make the you make the evening meal. I almost said English meal. But I'm a little distracted right now. I'll try to be a little more focused. After you make dinner, you eat dinner, and then you wash the dishes. If you watched my video about my daily routine, you'll know that we say in Canada that you need to wash the dishes. We also say do the dishes. So you can do the dishes after you eat, or you can say I need to wash the dishes. This is something that we do every evening after our evening meal. Sometimes we don't wash our breakfast and lunch dishes. We put them by the sink after breakfast and after lunch. And then after we have our evening meal, we do all the dishes, or we wash all the dishes. Another chore that I think Gaga was just referring to is you have to clean the house. So every day we do a little bit of cleaning, and usually on Saturdays we do a little bit more cleaning. So daily we usually sweep the kitchen floor, we do the dishes, and then usually on the weekend, on Saturdays, we usually vacuum the house, we clean the toilets, we do some of the weekly chores that involve cleaning. So we don't vacuum every day, but we do usually sweep the kitchen every day. We sweep the kitchen floor, and we try to keep our house as neat and tidy as possible. I just want to stop and say hi to the 481 people watching. Thank you so much for being here. I know some of you must be at parties today because it's almost New Year. It's almost the Chinese New Year, but I'm still just blown away. When you're blown away, you are just surprised and happy at the number of people that are here. So very cool to see all 488 of you now watching. I'm Bob the Canadian. If you're new here, you should click the subscribe button. Thumbs up are always awesome. We're doing a lesson right now on errands and chores. And we're about halfway through, I think. We'll just keep going in a minute here. I was gonna remind everyone though that it is a good idea to come back and re-watch parts of this tomorrow with the English subtitles on. If you are, if there were parts of this that you didn't understand, that's a great thing to do. Also, yes, my classroom is empty because all the desks are in the gym because students are writing exams this week. So it's a little more echoey. I don't even know if echoey is a word. It's a little more echoey in here than normal. Another chore is you need to take out the garbage. So in my part of Canada, we would say, take out the garbage. I need to take out the garbage. This is not my garbage. We usually each week have a very small bag of garbage because we recycle almost everything in Canada. We have a really good recycling program. So each week we take out the garbage. It's a very, very small bag, and every year or so it gets even smaller because we recycle more and more things. If you were in the United States, in some parts of the United States, you would say that you need to take out the trash. So when you take out the garbage or take out the trash, it means that it's probably garbage day. Where I live, Thursday is garbage day. So we bring the garbage to the road, and a garbage truck comes and picks up our garbage and our recycling on Thursday morning. So again, in America, some parts of America, you would say take out the trash. In my area, we say take out the garbage. You could also say that you need to bring the garbage to the road. If you're in town or city, you might say that you need to bring the garbage to the curb. The curb is this side of the road, but that is definitely one chore that needs to be done. You need to take out the garbage. Someone needs to do the laundry. When you do the laundry, it means that you wash the laundry and then you either hang your laundry up to dry or you put it in a dryer. So this is a washing machine. You do your laundry in a washing machine, and then you dry your laundry either in a dryer or you hang up your laundry. We hang up our laundry to dry because running a dryer costs a little bit of money. I did just see a question go by though about doing the dishes, and the question was, do you put your dishes in a washing machine? So some people have a machine that we call a dishwasher. Okay, so we wash our dishes by hand, but some people own a dishwasher, and so they put their dishes in the dishwasher and then they turn it on, and then the machine shoots water and soap around and washes the dishes. If you have a pet, you probably should feed the pet. So you might need to feed the dog or feed the cat. This would be a chore that needs to be done every day if you are a pet owner. So if you have a cat or dog or a bird or fish, you need to feed your pets, okay? So you need to go and you need to have pet food. So maybe you have a bag of dog food if you own a dog, and one chore that you would do every day is you would feed the dog or you would feed the cat. If your dog has a name, you just use the dog's name. So every day we make sure that someone needs to feed Oscar. Our dog's name is Oscar, and every day someone needs to feed the dog. I just saw a comment that said, what did it say here? I would spend the whole day listening to you and learning English. It's so useful. Thanks, Rosemary. That's a very nice comment. Some people who live in the city, one of the chores they need to do is they need to walk the dog. So dogs need exercise just like people. So often in the city, you will see people walking a dog. They will have the dog on a leash. This little rope here is connected to the dog's collar, and the dog is on a leash. But often a chore that needs to be done every day is that someone needs to walk the dog. We don't walk our dog because we live on a farm, and Oscar gets a lot of outdoor time. So he gets to run around a lot, and he doesn't go on a walk with me every day because I walk along the road. So, but Oscar doesn't need a lot of exercise. So another chore around the house is that someone needs to clean the bathroom. So the bathroom needs to be cleaned. I mention this in particular because we vacuum our living room, we vacuum our bedrooms, but the bathroom actually needs a good cleaning. You need to clean the toilet, you need to clean the mirror, you need to clean the bathtub. This is actually a bathtub, but it's also a shower, so you need to clean the sink. But bathrooms just need a little bit of extra cleaning each week, and this is definitely a chore that I don't like doing, but I really like it when the bathroom is super clean. So I actually like it when my house is really clean. I'm a bit of a neat freak. So a neat freak is someone who likes everything really clean. But having said that, even though I am a neat freak, my house is often not very tidy. So anyways, yes, you need to clean the bathroom. Sorry, I got distracted there. I'm getting distracted a little bit by the chat once in a while. Let's do a few more questions here. Let's see. Again, it makes my job easier if we stay on track. Let's see here. Next question is from Fernando. Fernando says, how many years between renewals of your driver's license in Canada? I think that's what you want to ask, Fernando. I think it's every 2 to 5 years, and I'm actually not sure. It's not every year. I think my driver's license, the last time I renewed it, was good for 5 years. That's how we say that the time between a renewal, we would say, oh, my driver's license is good for 5 years now. I just renewed it. Or my passport is good for 10 years now because I just renewed it. So that's a great phrase to learn, to say that something is good for a certain amount of time. Jake, this is great. I like it when the questions, is gardening an errand? So no, in fact, one chore that you do outside the house. So I did say chores are things you do at home, and they can include things you do around the outside of the house. So weeding your flower beds or weeding your garden would be considered a chore, okay? So if you grow flowers or if you grow vegetables, you have to weed. You have to go out and pull out the plants that are not what you are growing. Those are called weeds. So you need to weed the flower beds. So Jake, is gardening an errand? It's not an errand, it's definitely a chore though, for sure. Let me get a couple more questions here. Let's see. Oh, here's a good question. Oh, I like it. Valerie has this question, and it is, Have you had any chores when you were a child? So let me fix the question. You would say, did you have any chores when you were a child? Yes. So I had to keep my room clean, my bedroom. I had to make sure every Saturday that my room was clean. I had to make my bed every morning. That was a chore I did. When I was really young, I needed to make my own breakfast because my parents were always in the barn. Sean just said he's glad the question came up. He just checked his license and it expires in March. So make sure you renew it, Sean. So when I was a kid, though, I had a lot of chores in the barn. We had a dairy farm. We milked cows. And so every day after school, I had farm chores. So I went to the barn and I fed the calves. Calves are baby cows. I fed the calves. And I did a few other chores in the barn. So I had chores in the house. I also had chores in the barn. Let's see here. Toxicity says, which unit do you use for the amount of gas? Liter. In Canada, we use liters. In the United States, they use gallons, okay? So Canada uses the metric system. So when I go and put gas in my van, it's in liters. That's what we use. Let's see here. Dimitro has the next question. Dimitro says from the Ukraine. Hi, Dimitro. Hi, Bob. Is it an errand or a chore if you do it very rarely, maybe once or twice a year? Thanks. I think it would be. Like, I think if I have to run out to renew my license, I would consider that an errand. And I only do that every few years. I would say in English, we have something called spring cleaning, especially if you live somewhere where you have winter. And then when spring comes, the first few days when you can open your windows and air out the house, we have spring cleaning. So we clean the house extra good in the spring because winter is over and the house has been closed all winter. And we would still call that a chore for sure. Let's see here. Stan says, what about prepositions at the post office or in the post office? Okay, so if I need to send a letter, I need to go and buy a stamp from the post office. I need to go buy a stamp at the post office, okay? I wouldn't necessarily say in the post office, okay? If I need to go and get my mail, I need to go and get my mail from the post office. I could say that my mailbox is in the post office because it's physically in the post office. So I would use at the post office. Let's see here. There are a lot of questions here that are not on topic. We need to stay on topic. Mao says, hi Bob, Todd, Dave. How do you send courier in Canada? We Japanese usually send luggage at a convenience store. So we actually can send packages at the post office, but you can also go straight to the UPS store, which is a company that does it, or you can go straight to FedEx, but they will also come straight to your house and pick up a package if you want to do it that way as well. Let me clean up my questions here, everybody. Let me see. So Kevin Liu says, hi Bob, how are you? I'm good, Kevin, thank you. Can I say I do the laundry or I go to the laundry? So I did forget to mention something. At home, when I wash my clothes, I would say that I do the laundry. Okay, so I do the laundry at home. But you can also go to a laundromat. A laundromat is a place where you pay money to wash your own clothes. Okay, so you can do the laundry at home. You can do your laundry at a laundromat, which would actually be an errand, not a chore, or maybe it's both. So you go to a place called a laundromat. Some people call it a laundromat, but I call it a laundromat. It's a place that has a whole bunch of washing machines and dryers. You can also take your clothes to a dry cleaner and they will clean them for you. So doing your laundry at home is the cheapest. Doing your laundry, if you don't have a washing machine, you can do your laundry at a laundromat, or you can pay someone to wash it. Most Canadians do their laundry at home. That is the most common way to do laundry. I'm going to finish off with a few things. Another chore that we do in the summer, spring, summer, and fall is we mow the lawn. So we have something called a lawnmower. We like to keep our yard nicely manicured or trimmed. We like to keep the grass somewhat short because in the summer months in Canada, we spend a lot of time outside. So we mow the lawn. We usually mow the lawn once a week. Once it is the middle of summer, the grass grows a lot slower and we mow the lawn less frequently. Sometimes once every 2 weeks or so. But yes, you definitely mow the lawn. And then in Canada, sometimes you have to shovel the driveway. Now, this man, there is a lot of snow, so this man is shoveling the driveway. Many Canadians actually have snow blowers, so they have a machine that will blow the snow off their driveway. But some people still shovel the driveway. Sean, do you have, thanks Dave for hiding that one. And you hopefully have already blocked that viewer permanently. That'd be awesome. So shovel the driveway is something that we do. Sean, I was going to ask, do you have a snowblower or do you shovel your driveway? Or do you make your kids shovel your driveway? Let's see here. Let me just take care of something for a sec. Here we go. I'm just adding some words to my block list for a sec. Let's see here. I think that should take care of it. We'll see in a moment. So sorry about that in the chat, guys. There's a little bit of something going on there that has to be taken care of a little more permanently. I think we might have gotten it. I'm just gonna add a few more things here. Just give me one sec. This is where Bob the Canadian has to do a little bit of adminning. Let's see here. And let's see, one last thing. We're gonna add, yep, good, that's taken care of. Awesome. Okay, back to the lesson. Let me do a couple more questions here. Renata, hi Renata. Renata says, in Brazil, we use a squeegee and a cloth to clean the floor. And I heard that in North American countries, a mop is used. Is that right? Thanks, Bob. Yes. So we sweep our kitchen floor, and usually once a week or every 2 weeks, we mop our floor. So we get a pail and we fill it with water and soap. And we have, it kind of looks like a broom, but it has, the end is meant to get wet, so we put it in the water and then we mop our floor to get it extra clean. We don't often get down on the floor and clean the floor that way, but yes, we definitely do mop the floor. Let's see here. Next question is from Dimas. Dimas says, if someone asks me for tea, can I say, wait a minute, the kettle is boiling, or water in a kettle is boiling? So here's what I would say. If I said, would you like tea? And someone said yes, I would say, well, I'll have it ready in a minute. The kettle, we're waiting for the kettle to boil, okay? Or the kettle needs to boil, or the water needs to boil. A lot of different ways to say that. Let's see here. Sam says, hi Bob, how do you pay your utility bill? I suppose it is an errand, thanks for your video. Yes, so I pay my utility bills on my computer. So we think that's more of a chore than an errand. I used to drive around and pay my bills, but now I pay all my bills from home. So that would definitely be a chore. Let's see. Irina has the next question. Hi Bob, what does your family use to usually eat supper on? So I changed a few words there, Irina. We sit at a table. We have a nice table in our kitchen. You can see it in my daily routine video. In fact, I think I sit and I eat my meal at the end of our supper table or a dinner table. So we would actually call that table a supper table or dinner table. Next question from Leo. Hi Bob, which is correct? I'm gonna walk with my dog or I'm gonna walk my dog? We would say I'm gonna walk my dog. By the way, my son is gonna travel to St. Stephen next week. Thank you. That's awesome. I hope he has a good trip. But yes, we would say, oh, I'm gonna walk my dog. Like if I said to my brother, I'm coming over to your house, but before I come over, I'm gonna walk my dog. You could also say, I'm gonna walk the dog. We would say the as well. I'm gonna walk the dog. Doesn't sound very nice because the dog does have a name usually. So, so from Manel, can we say I have to feed the baby? Yes, definitely. So when Jen and I had really small kids, when they were babies, oftentimes we would say, oh, I have to feed the baby. I'll be right back. I have to feed the baby. That's what Jen would say. I didn't really feed the babies. I won't get into that. I just noticed though that it is 8:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I do need to wrap this up. I want to thank all of the 516 people who are watching. Once again, if you're new here, please click the subscribe button right there. And give me a thumbs up if this video helped you a bit. And I do recommend highly that if there were parts of this video that you didn't understand, watch those parts again tomorrow with the English subtitles turned on. That's very, very helpful. You can pause the video, you can look up some words, but definitely please do rewatch parts of this. Happy New Year to all of you in that part of the world. I hope you are having a great evening. I hope that your new year starting tomorrow, is my understanding, it's just an awesome year, and I just hope that everything goes well. I'm Bob the Canadian. You're learning English with me. Thanks again for watching. I do believe Sean is doing a live stream right after this one or in a little bit. Let me just look up the link for that at free 99. Let me find that so I can post it into the chat. Let's see here. I think this is it. Yep, let me grab that. So Sean's starting in about 15 minutes, 13 minutes. There's the link above. Oh, I stopped talking. That's not good. They say when you're doing a live lesson, you should never stop talking. Anyways, there's a link over there in the chat. Sean's doing a live. I have to get ready at work here because I have students coming in to write an exam. But again, thank you so much for watching. I hope this helped quite a bit. Have a great weekend. I'm going to push the button now and this will end. Oh, thanks to Dave and Todd for helping out.